If you don't use it, you lose it. That's the saying goes. If you don't use it, you lose it. Use it or lose it. And have you ever thought about that in the context of the real world, the context of your daily life? If you don't use it, you lose it. And one of the primary kind of mechanisms of aging is our ability, or our reducing ability, to adapt to stressful environments or acute stressors. And the more you think about that, the more that kind of resonates with why people are suffering from chronic illnesses slightly more now than they were. And the prevalence of chronic illness is increasing each year. If you think about what acute stressors we are effectively removing from our lives, the more we understand use it or lose it. So we take away those stressors, so our body doesn't have to deal with that acute stress. Therefore, our body gets not very good at dealing with that stress if it does occur. And what am I talking about? I'm going to talk about light, I'm going to talk about movement, and I'm going to talk about temperature. Have you ever been to someone's house and they have it roughly kind of 23 degrees all year? Even in winter, they have 23 degrees. And then you go out and you walk out in the cold, and they are the ones that feel the cold the most. Because their body the body just doesn't have to adapt to a cold stressor. They probably go from that warm house, they've preheated their car into their car, they've then gone into a heated office, they've then gone back into the heated car which they've preheated, then they've gone back into the house. At no point did their body have to learn to adapt to the stress or the thermal stress. So when they are outside for a prolonged period of time, their body is not as useful or is not as used to being able to adapt to temperature changes. And that is one of the reasons I do sauna stuff kind of 5 times a week, and then I'll do cold stuff for 3 times a week ish, because I want my body to be able to adapt to acute stresses and also be able to adapt to acute stresses that occur outside the thermal realm, i.e. we already know that if you activate your heat stress proteins, this also has carryover to other stressful activities or other stressful environment, other stressful actions that occur and allow you to become better able to deal with it. And so the more acute stress I put in through temperature changes, the better my body's ability is to be able to deal with stressful occurrences outside of the thermal realm. And it's the same with light. If you think about though, do you know anybody that spends a lot of time indoors, but when they go outside they go, oh my god, it's bright, I'm gonna have to put sunglasses on, and so they artificially change the light signals because they've spent so long indoors, they've lost the ability to be able to adapt to changes in light intensity. Now, outside of, obviously there are people that are particularly light sensitive for other reasons, and I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the people that spend the time indoors and they spend so much time indoors that when they go outside into a natural light environment where it's much brighter, the intensity of the light is much higher, they can't do it. And so there we go. It's another case of use it or lose it. So we've done thermal, we've done light, and same with movement. If you don't move, if you don't stress your body out through acute stresses, we get fatter, sicker, slower. And so I need people to realize, I need you to realize that all these things are causing positive adaptations in your body. So these thermal changes are causing positive adaptations. These light changes are causing positive adaptations. And don't forget, photobiomodulation by itself is an acute stressor. So when you stand in front of that whole body panel or you shine that light on you, it's an acute stressor, but it has downstream changes of various markers and receptors, etc., which have downstream effects, positive downstream effects on your body as a whole anyway. But you're also getting the benefit of that slightly acute stressor, making you better able to deal with light in the future. So the more we use these acute stressors, the stronger, the better we become. So the saying, use it or lose it, actually has real meaning in light. It has real meaning in thermals. It has real meaning in movement. And so we need to understand, have acute stressors of thermal temperatures within your own boundaries, within reason. Have acute stressors of light. Use photobiomodulation, not just for the positive effects that we have already documented, but also the fact that it counts as an acute stressor, which makes you better able to deal with stress under any circumstance. And then with movement, obviously, again, acutely stress your body within your boundaries, and allow yourself to get stronger, fitter, faster, healthier. All these things we can do that are so easy to do, so easy to accomplish, because we're not talking about go out and run a marathon tomorrow. I'm talking about slow increments. Slow incremental changes make a big positive difference. Have a great